Another thing you want to think about to be an organized expositor is to manage your library. With the development of electronic books and websites with free books, we now have resources in so many places. We own printed books at home, in our church office, and some are lent out to other people. We own ebooks that we have as files in our computer, and others that we can access only through proprietary platforms like Kindle or Logos. Now, having said that, I want to take this chance to highlight the theological library you will be receiving through your Thea Logos package. This includes commentaries, lexicons, grammars, Bible introductions, datasets, and much, much more. We'll be giving you a full list of these resources so you know exactly what you have. But here are some resources I want to draw your attention to. You will be getting the IVP Bible Background Commentary, which is worth $32 US, the Lexham Context Commentary, which is an 8-volume set, worth $225, the Lexham Research Commentaries, 33 volumes, worth $500, the New American Commentary, 43 volumes, worth over $600, the MacArthur New Testament Commentaries, 34 volumes, valued at about $600. And you'll also get select volumes from Tyndale Commentary, the Christian Standard Commentary, the Evangelical Exegetical Commentary. Some authors' names you might recognize would include Derek Kidner, Leon Morris, David Garland, Timothy George, Tom Schreiner, and Abner Chao. You'd also be getting Biblical Doctrine by John MacArthur and Richard Mayhew, valued at $22, and several lections and Bible dictionaries, and much, much, much more. Now, in addition to printed or electronic books that you own, there are also tons of resources you may not own, but you have access to. Now, for as long as you are enrolled in Thea, you have free access to the EBSCO online database of the Master's University and Seminary. This is free for you, but it's paid for by TMUS and facilitated by the Masters Academy International, which is the parent organization of Thea. Now, this is a massive theological resource, okay? And here are some great resources available for free on EBSCO. There's the New International Commentary on the Old and New Testaments, which is 50 volumes, valued at over $500. There's the Tyndale Commentaries, 48 volumes, at over $600. The Baker Exegetical Commentary on the New Testament, some really great scholarly commentaries on the New Testament books, 18 volumes, valued at over $1,000. There's the Word Biblical Commentary, 61 volumes, worth over $1,000 also. The Pillar New Testament Commentary, 15 volumes at over $300. NIV Application Commentary with 44 volumes, valued over $1,000. There's New Studies in Biblical Theology, 53 volumes, and this is valued at just under $1,000. ESV Expository Commentary, 11 volumes, worth $200 plus dollars. There's the Foundations of Evangelical Theology series, which has 9 volumes so far, and it is valued at about $200. There's also the 9 Marks Building Healthy Churches series with 13 volumes, valued at about $130. But these are small but really, really helpful, rich resources on things relating to the church and the health of the church. There's also the New American Commentary series, a very good commentary series, 43 volumes, valued at over $600. And, you have this, if you get the Thea Logos package, you'll already have this and the MacArthur New Testament commentaries. But if you don't avail of the Thea Logos package, then you can get these through the EBSCO ERL resource. There are also a ton of free resources that we can access legally and ethically on websites. For example, you can get lots of free books on desiringgod.org. You can go to Christian Classics Ethereal Library, the Internet Archive, academia.edu, and much more. And because there are now so many platforms and media where we can access our resources, we forget what we have. And even if we remember, we forget where to find it. And this is why a library catalog is so important. Now, you could do this manually, kind of like the way we used to do. Remember those little index cards when you'd go to the library when you were a kid? But that would just be way too tedious. So I personally use a software called Calibre to manage my library. So let me open up my Calibre software to show you what it looks like and how I use it. Okay, so this is my Calibre library. Now, there are many advantages to using this software. I can catalog all resources, whether they're printed or electronic, no matter what format, PDF, EPUB, DocX format, MOBI, whatever format, I can document it, catalog it. And I can catalog books and resources wherever they may be found. If they're in my home library, they're in my office, wherever. If they're online, they're in my computer. So I always know what I have and where to look for any resource. I can also categorize resources however I want. I can categorize them by title, by author, rating, by certain tags, by series. As you can see here, I have some, the Zondervan Exegetical Commentary series, and several other series. No? And I can add notes for any resource. So for example, I have here a note that this resource I have as a Logos book, so I have to open up Logos to get this, to access this book. I used it during a particular subject while I was at seminary, at the Master's Seminary. Some notes on Gary Stephen, the author. There are other commentaries where I even have some reviews that tell me how good certain people I respect, what they think of the commentary. There are even works where I have citation details on how to cite the work if I use it a lot. I can also open certain file formats straight from the software, and this includes EPUBs, PDFs, and MS Word documents. So as you can see here, this resource, the New International Encyclopedia of Bible Words, is actually a resource, a hard copy book that I owned, and then I scanned it so that I would have a more accessible PDF format on my computer. So I have a scanned PDF of this book, which I own, and I can open it directly from Calibre software. So how do you set up something like this? Oh, and before I get to how you set it up, let me show you how useful this thing can be. So let's say I want to search for all my commentaries on the book of Colossians. So I will type tag Colossians, hit enter, and look at that. I have 30 resources, not necessarily books. It could be articles, it could be, but mostly books, it looks like, that are about the book of Colossians. And I can then arrange all of these 30 resources on the book of Colossians by rating so I know which ones to prioritize. Now, my top 3 resources, if I'm studying a passage from Colossians would be these three. As you can see in my rating, I've given them all 5 stars. I have O'Brien's commentary from the Word Biblical Commentary. I have Bruce's commentary from the NICNT series. I have Douglas Moo's commentary in the Pillar New Testament series. And then my notes here tells me that this is found in Logos, so is this, and this I have as a PDF because I own the hard copy. Then I scanned it so I would have a soft copy version on my laptop. Now, what if I wanted to search for a particular topic instead of a biblical book? Well, I could also use the tag feature. See, I could search for, let's say Christology. And there you go. I have all these resources relating to the doctrine of Christ, the top resource being from the Foundations of Evangelical Theology, the Stephen Wellum's contribution regarding God the Son incarnate. And I have this book as a Crossway ebook. So I bought this as an ebook from Crossway. I also have it a hard copy on my bookshelf, and I converted the Crossway ebook into a Kindle document as well. As you can see here, I have the different formats. So if I click EPUB, I can open that file directly from Calibre. There you go. And here I even have some citation information because I used to cite this resource a lot when I was preparing for a class on the doctrine of Christ. You can also search books by author. So let's say I want books by John Piper. Or I put the last name first, so it would be Piper John. And there you go. The books that I have mentioning John Piper or authored by John Piper, all the books where John Piper is either the author or some kind of contributor will be listed here. So there are a lot of different ways to use this, but you can see it's very flexible. You can arrange it however you want. You can choose what tags to use. You can rate books to prioritize them, and just make it work for you. Now, how can you set up your own Calibre catalog and electronic library? Okay, here are some steps that you could follow to help you do that. First, you download and install the software. It's free, completely free. I think it'll be free forever. I've been using it for years and years. So just look it up online, Calibre. This is what it looks like. Okay. Calibre library, I think, is what you would find online. So you download and install the software, and then you create a new library and choose where to store the files. So it will be some folder in your computer. I suggest that you use a folder in your cloud storage, so that means your entire library will be automatically backed up in the cloud. Thirdly, decide what tags you will use to catalog your books. And here's something to consider. For topical resources, I recommend starting with the standard major categories. For example, scripture or bibliology, interpretive principles, hermeneutics, God, which is theology proper, Christ or Christology, the Holy Spirit or pneumatology, man, anthropology, sin, which is hamartiology, salvation or soteriology, church or ecclesiology, and last things, which is eschatology. Okay, to that you might add history, biography, counseling, pastoral ministry, Christian living, and any other tags that might help you look for the books and resources that you want to find. Now and by the way, you can add several tags to a book, so you don't have to just catalog a book with one tag. You can add as many tags to a book as you want. Now for passage-focused resources like commentaries, you can tag them according to which book or books of the Bible each one tackles to make them very easy to find. So think about what tags would be most helpful to you and use those. Fourthly, you want to transfer your ebook files. So any PDFs, any EPUBs that you have in your computer, you want to transfer them into your Calibre library, and you can do that just by grabbing these and dragging them onto the Calibre window, and it'll automatically copy. It's very easy, very convenient. So at this point, once you're done with step 4, you've set up your library system or your base system, and then you have all your electronic files, your book files, all your articles, whatever you have on your computer as files, you've transferred them into your Calibre library. And by the way, what happens there is once you transfer a file into your Calibre library, the Calibre creates a copy of that file in the Calibre folder where you're saving your library information. So let's say I'm copying an EPUB book from a folder on my computer, and I copy it into the Calibre library. I now have 2 copies of that file, so I can delete the file that was in the original folder and just keep the copy that Calibre has made in the Calibre folder to save on memory and to avoid just any complications in the future. Okay, so now you have you've set up your your system, and now you have all your electronic books that you have as files in your Calibre system. Now what you want to do is catalog every other book that you have, whether they be printed resources or they be the books that you have in proprietary platforms like Kindle or Logos, because you don't have those as files. You'd have to open up the software of these platforms to access the books. So you catalog those as well, or even books. You may want to catalog books that you have access to free on websites online, just so you know that you can have access to them and where to look for them exactly when you want to access that resource. It's really up to you how thorough you want to be with this. So how do you catalog books that aren't files? Well, you add an empty book, okay? Let me show you again how this works by opening up my Calibre. So here, you go to Add Books, and you can add an empty book, okay? This is a book entry with no format, and you can just use the hotkey Control-Shift-E. Now, if I do that, that allows me to create, an empty format, but I've already done that here. So I have several empty books ready just for me to use for filing. And now I can fill that up with certain information, like let's say Risk is Right, authored by Piper, and then I can, look for a cover image online, download that, and paste it here. Now I can let's just select a random image just to use as a cover for this demonstration purpose, and I can put a rating. I can put tags. Let's say missiology, because it's kind of relevant to missions, and then I put where to look for it. So let's say let's just pretend it's a Kindle ebook. So I just put Kindle book so I know where to look for it, and I put any notes, 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 maybe a summary of the book here, uh, and then let's say I rate it 5 stars. Click OK, and now I have this entry for the book Risk is Right with a cover of it, uh, and it's got the author, it's got the rating, it's got the tag. I've got notes on it. I know where to look for it when I want to read it, etc. Okay, and if it belongs to a particular series, let's say the John Piper series, I can put that there, and it would be lumped together with other books from this imaginary series. So you see just how simple this is, really. Um, and if you if you start this early while you're still building your library, it is not difficult at all. And even if you already have a very sizable library, um, you might have to set aside a few hours for cataloging, but this will really, really save you a lot of time in the long run because you won't have to, well, like I said, you know exactly what you have, where you have it. Okay, and as you've seen, Calibre is a very, very, very helpful cataloging system for any and every resource you have, be they books or even CDs or anything, really. Okay, so again, the longer your list of resources grows, the more important cataloging becomes. So I would highly, highly recommend you to catalog your library, especially if you're a pastor.